Dr. James Harrison was one of the most renowned physicians on Earth, specializing in rare and exotic diseases. His reputation had earned him a position at the prestigious Orion Medical Institute, where he dedicated his days to research and his nights to caring for his patients. One evening, after a long day, he returned to his apartment, exhausted and ready to collapse into bed. As he unlocked the door and stepped inside, he noticed something strange. The usual hum of his apartment was different, almost muted. The air felt charged, like just before a storm. He flicked on the lights and gasped. Standing in the middle of his living room were three figures, unlike anything he had ever seen. They were humanoid, but with distinct features, green hair that flowed like a cascade of leaves, pointed ears, and eyes that shimmered with an ethereal glow. "Dr. Harrison," one of them spoke in a melodic, almost hypnotic voice, "we come in peace. We need your help." James, still in shock, managed to stammer, Who are you?" "We are from the planet Astria," the figure continued. "I am Princess Amaris, and these are my guards. My brother, Prince Kyle, is gravely ill, and no healer on our world can cure him. We have heard of your great skills and come seeking your aid." Despite his fatigue, James's curiosity and sense of duty overrode his initial fear. "How did you find me?" he asked, trying to wrap his mind around the situation. "We have been observing your world for some time," Amaris replied. "Your advancements in medicine are unparalleled. Will you help us?" James took a deep breath. "If what you say is true, and if I can help, I will do my best. But I need to understand more about your brother's condition and your world." Amaris nodded. "There is much to explain, but time is short. We must leave immediately. Our journey is long and fraught with dangers." James quickly gathered his essential medical tools and a few personal belongings. "Lead the way," he said, feeling a mix of excitement and apprehension. The transport vessel they boarded was unlike anything James had ever seen. Sleek and luminous, it hummed with energy as it lifted off from the roof of his building. The ship became invisible, thanks to a unique energy field that prevented anyone from seeing them. Inside, the technology was beyond Earth's current capabilities, with controls and interfaces that responded to touch and thought. As they traveled through the vast expanse of space, Amaris explained more about Astria. "Our planet is located in the Andromeda Galaxy. It is a world of great beauty and advanced civilization, but we are not immune to illness. My brother Kale has been struck by a disease that attacks his nervous system. Our best healers have tried and failed to cure him." James listened intently, taking notes on a holographic device provided by Amaris. "I will need to run some tests and analyze his symptoms in detail," he said. "What are the main signs of his illness?" "He experiences severe pain, muscle weakness, and occasional paralysis," Amaris said, her voice filled with concern. "His condition is deteriorating rapidly." James nodded, his mind already racing with possible diagnoses and treatments. "I will do everything I can." The journey through space was not without its challenges. They encountered asteroid fields and navigated through regions of space with intense gravitational forces. Each obstacle was a test of the ship's capabilities and the skill of its pilot, a stern-faced Astrian named Thalos. One particularly harrowing moment came as they passed through a nebula filled with charged particles that disrupted the ship's systems. The vessel shuddered violently, and alarms blared. James, holding onto a railing, watched as Amaris and her guards worked with precision to stabilize the ship. "Is this normal?" James asked, trying to keep his voice steady. "Space travel always carries risks," Thalos replied curtly, "but our technology is designed to handle such situations." After what felt like an eternity, they emerged from the nebula, and the ship's systems returned to normal. James let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. "I'm starting to see why you said the journey was dangerous," he remarked. Amaris offered a reassuring smile. "We are close now. Astria is just beyond the next star system." As they approached Astria, James was awestruck by the sight. The planet was a vibrant jewel in the darkness of space, its surface covered in lush forests, sparkling oceans, and sprawling cities that glowed with an inner light. The ship descended towards the capital city, Lumina, where the royal palace stood. In the city, exotic birds with vibrant colors glided through the air, strange animals perched on tree branches, and elegant creatures swam gracefully in the water. As the ship descended further, the details of Astria's vibrant environment became even more striking. Hovering above the ground, sleek and futuristic vehicles zipped through the air, their streamlined designs glinting in the sunlight. These flying crafts moved with effortless grace, weaving through the towering skyscrapers and lush treetops. On the ground below, pathways lined with bioluminescent plants lit up with a soft, pulsating glow, guiding the inhabitants as they strolled through the city. The air was filled with the hum of advanced technology and the chatter of diverse alien species, each contributing to the planet's rich tapestry. In the distance, waterfalls cascaded down from towering cliffs, their waters sparkling as they met the crystalline lakes below. The city itself seemed to be a seamless blend of nature and technology, with buildings that curved and twisted in harmony with the natural landscape, creating a breathtakingly beautiful and harmonious environment. The palace itself was a marvel of architecture, blending seamlessly with the natural landscape. Towers and spires rose amidst trees and gardens, connected by elegant bridges and walkways. As they landed, a contingent of Astrian guards greeted them. Amaris led James through the palace to the royal infirmary, where Prince Kyle lay on a floating medical bed. He was pale, with eyes that mirrored Amaris's, but were clouded with pain. A team of Astrian healers stood by, their expressions a mix of hope and resignation. James approached Kyle and began his examination. Using advanced diagnostic tools, he analyzed the prince's condition, noting the irregularities in his nervous system. "It's as if his body is attacking itself," James muttered, more to himself than anyone else. "I need to run more tests to confirm." For the next several hours, James worked tirelessly, gathering data and consulting with the Astrian healers. They shared their knowledge of Astrian physiology and the treatments they had attempted, but nothing had been effective. Finally, James had a breakthrough. "I believe this is a form of neurodegenerative disease caused by a malfunction in his genetic code," he announced. "If we can isolate the defective gene and repair it, we might be able to halt and even reverse the damage." Amaris's eyes shone with hope. "Can you do it, Dr. Harrison?" James nodded. "I will need to use a combination of your technology and some techniques from Earth. It won't be easy, but I believe it's possible." James and the Astrian healers began the intricate process of developing a genetic therapy. They worked around the clock, using advanced bioengineering tools to create a viral vector that could deliver the corrective gene to Kale's cells. As the treatment progressed, James and Amaris grew closer. She was fascinated by his dedication and skill, and he was captivated by her strength and compassion. They spent long hours together, discussing their worlds and their hopes for the future. One evening, as they took a break in the palace gardens, James confided in Amaris. I've never faced a challenge quite like this, he admitted, but your faith in me gives me strength. Amaris smiled, her eyes reflecting the soft glow of the bioluminescent plants around them. You are an extraordinary man, James. Your courage and kindness have given us hope when we had none. As the weeks passed, Cale's condition began to improve. The therapy was working, repairing the damage to his nervous system and restoring his strength. The royal family and the people of Astria rejoiced, celebrating the miracle brought by the healer from Earth. But as Cale recovered, James knew his time on Astria was coming to an end. The bond he had formed with Amaris weighed heavily on his heart. They had shared so much, and the thought of leaving her was almost unbearable. The day of James's departure arrived. The royal family and the people of Lumina gathered to bid him farewell. Kyle, now healthy and strong, thanked James with heartfelt gratitude. "You have given me a second chance at life, and," he said, "I will never forget what you have done." Amaris stood by, her eyes filled with unshed tears. "James, you will always have a place in our hearts, and in mine," she whispered, stepping closer. James took her hands in his. "Amaris, you have shown me a world of beauty and love. I will carry you with me, always." They shared a final tender embrace before James boarded the ship that would take him back to Earth. As the vessel lifted off, he looked out at Amaris one last time, her figure growing smaller but never fading from his heart. James returned to Earth with a heavy heart but a renewed sense of purpose. He resumed his work at the Orion Medical Institute, his experiences on Astria inspiring new breakthroughs in his research. One evening, as he returned home after a long day, he found himself thinking of Amaris and the incredible journey he had undertaken. The memories of their time together filled him with a bittersweet longing. But life on Earth moved forward, and James continued to heal and inspire those around him. He knew that his path and Amaris's had crossed for a reason, and that their love, though separated by galaxies, would endure. This story, rich with adventure, love, and discovery, illustrated the boundless potential of humanity and the deep connections that transcend time and space. James Harrison, the healer from Earth, had left an indelible mark on Astria, just as it had on him.